Hello and welcome to another update video about LINK. LINK did grind a little bit higher over the last few days and reached basically nearly $23, so further into my target area that we talked about on the smaller time frame charts. This is the 4-day chart now. It shows you basically the overall structure. Possible bull market projection $91 plus, so it's quite a large area. We can specify that further as we go along, but I'd like to see this in this bull market go to $91 or ideally more. This is sort of like the first level where it starts, but this also depends on the successful wave 2 correction. So what we want in any pullback now is that it's holding a wave 2 support zone, which I can't really define yet because this initial move up, which is basically nearly complete, ideally based on probabilities, not yet. I haven't seen any confirmation a top is in place, but we are possibly getting there, and because of that it is entirely possible that this wave 2 starts very soon. Again, I cannot give you a target really yet because I haven't got a top in place, but I think it is likely that we're going to land somewhere around the $12 mark. Maybe it's around the previous swing low here, so it's just something to be aware of. So after that wave 2 correction, which would be a corrective pullback forming a higher low, a third wave rally basically should unfold. Once we have the wave 2 in place, we can calculate the targets here for that third wave more precisely. For example, what I can tell you is that if the wave 1 topped now, and let's assume the wave 2 gets into the region around $12, then I'd like to see that third wave get to around about $103 or more. Yeah. So, but if we go lower in the wave 2 correction, yeah, the third wave might only reach $72. So that's why I cannot really give you very precise targets yet. It depends on how low the wave 2 goes. There will be support levels for the wave 2 that we can watch. But then again, I need a top in place for wave 1. At the moment, there are really only some levels for orientation I could give you. The wave 1 is basically nearly complete. That's my assumption. Everything nice. Everything to the upside from here is just like the icing on the cake. Is like nice to have. The gravy, you could say, as well. So it's basically, we have 5 waves up already. So after a 5-wave move up, normally it is ready for a corrective pullback, but doesn't have to happen. It's ready. So that's one thing. Then also, looking at the smaller time frames, we reached obviously my targets already. I would still like it to get to around about maybe $25, $26, but it's already done what it needs to do. Just to give you an idea why and what the targets were. Obviously, this looks like a 5-wave move. Maybe not to everybody, but it's to me, it looks like a 5-wave move. And there are a couple of, even if things get a little bit ambiguous, okay, but we can still use the Fibonacci levels for ideal targets. Now, one way of calculating a target for that move up, basically if we say, okay, this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the way to do this is normally we take the length of waves 1 and 3 together. We go to the low of the wave 4, and then we're looking for the 38.2 extension as one target. That was the $20 mark. That was my minimum target already months ago. We reached that, and we're still hovering around that level, so it shows you how relevant that is. These Fib levels often act as a magnet for the price. And the 61.8 extension level would be the next target, around $26, maybe even $27. That's one way of calculating targets. The other way is to just take the length of the wave 1 and compare it with the length of the wave 5, but then we're looking for the 100% extension level. I didn't draw it very accurately yet, but it's around about $21.50, and that was sort of my next target, which was reached as well. And so sort of minimum expectations have been fulfilled. Structurally, visually, and Fibonacci-wise, levels have been reached. I just don't have a confirmation for a top. And even on the smaller time frame chart, if we go to the 1-hour time frame or 4-hour, we can see that from this, obviously we're now looking at 4-hour, we're looking at the wave 4 of this wave 1. Here, the swing low that formed in January, or 8th of January. Also in that 5th wave then, we already have 5 waves up. So also the smaller time frames show the same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The move up has minimally enough waves in place to consider this complete. It's done. It's not saying it's done, okay, but as long as we're holding relevant levels, we can still climb higher. But as I said, it's the icing on the cake now. So I don't think you know, I don't think we should expect much more upside. Would still prefer 1 or 2 more highs, but we're now in a situation where I think caution is advised, where I was very, you know, I was very much focused on 1 more high into that sort of, yeah, $24, $25 region. As long as we're holding orange support, which we did, yeah. I mean, the price reversed in that zone, but now we're at a point where I'm saying, okay, we have, even on the smallest time frames, all the waves in place to call that move complete. We've reached targets. Yeah, I can still stretch higher, so it's about going with the trend, right? But it's nice to have, and we need to be ready for that pullback now, really. And you see it's getting more choppy as well. Oops. And when can we say that a top is in place? So an early indication a top is in place would be a break below that little wave 2 low there, $9.25. Then it would invalidate this direct upside move as it is, which would be an ending diagonal in wave 5 of 5, which could still stretch to 25, yeah, $27, yeah. But it's already coming down very strongly. So we'll see. At the moment, levels are holding. I'm not going to add another support zone here. This was our support zone. It did lead to a profitable trade. Now it's nice to have until we get a bit more clarity, but this is now being on the side of caution, right? And then the wave 2 should start at some point. And as soon as I see evidence for it, I'm going to add that additional next support zone for the wave 2 for pullback traders to possibly get positioned for that third wave rally here, basically to the upside. Yeah, that's my update about LINK. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.